What is going on? Welcome to Rue's Reviews. I am Rue, aka the Culture Black Kid, here with my co-host.
Iffy Obiebu.
And today we are here to review the latest Weeknd album, Hurry Up Tomorrow. This is the final album that will be under the Weeknd moniker. At least that's what Abel has said. His sixth studio album and a part of a trilogy that includes After Hours and Dawn FM that were released over the past 5 years. After Hours in 2020 and Dawn FM in 2022. It also is coming with a film that is based on the album around middle of the year.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Okay.
So, yeah. And look, it's the weekend. Got to touch on it. Biggest release of the week. So, yeah, I guess what are some initial thoughts before we get into the more in-depth stuff of this album?
Okay, well, I'm scared. I'm actually quite scared. The album went as I expected.
Okay.
Sonically.
Mm-hmm.
There were a few songs that surprised me, but it was what I thought it would be.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, like, it was an album that was very true to The Weeknd. I really love the concept. I love the themes. I
Mhm.
love what he's like. I guess the themes and the vibes surrounding it.
Mm-hmm.
But sonically, what I expected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's fair. It is.
Yeah.
I think when I listened to it the first time, I was like, yeah, this is a Weeknd album.
Yeah.
This is a Weeknd album. Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, no, I think as I started to listen a bit more and do a little bit more research, I was like, okay, yeah, this is a bit interesting. But for the most part, I think my initial statement of this is a Weeknd album still stands. And I guess, now that the trilogy is completed, not the first trilogy for anyone confused. This most recent trilogy is complete. It is interesting to now see it as a package.
Yeah.
And yeah, but anyway, let's get into some of the pros of this album. Ivy, what are some things that you liked? Favorite songs?
I really liked I like the concept. As I said, or as Bruce been saying, lol. The whole point is that he's kind of like moving away. It's like I see the album as like a reflection and a transformation.
Yeah.
And I really like that. I think it is a fitting conclusion to After Hours and Dawn FM.
Yep.
And yeah, he's kind of tying together his artistic journey.
Mhm.
Yeah, and also that's one thing.
Yep.
I love the fact that within this album and like the finalization of it, you can hear that he's like really kind of perfected his craft.
Yeah.
He knows what he knows, he's mastered it.
Yep.
And it's kind of his like showing us one more time, like, yeah, on
Yeah.
the weekend, like don't forget it.
For sure.
I really love the collabs.
Mm-hmm.
There
Agreed.
are two in particular, Playboy Cardi
Mm-hmm.
and Anita.
Yep.
Those two, boom, out of this world.
Mm-hmm.
And those two songs with them were my two favorite songs on the album as well.
What songs were those? Just for the titles?
Playboy Cardi was Timeless,
Yep.
and Anita was Sao Paulo.
Yep.
I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Thank you. Woman of the world.
Portuguese.
But yeah, a lot of the other collabs were Travis Scott, Future,
Yep.
Lana Del Rey as well. But I think they had a lot of variety and depth, which is lovely to hear. And yeah, the production as well. Not standouts, but like the songs that were listen. You think of Weeknd, or I think of Weeknd, I think of synths.
For sure. Very
and
80s, very...
yeah,
Yeah,
80s,
yeah.
synthy, futuristic.
Yep.
And the songs that were really heavy in that, I did enjoy a lot. I think it is I don't know the name, the second song in the album.
Cry For Me.
Yes, I really liked that one. And even the opening song, it's like 5 minute song, but I was like,
Yep.
yo, it's tea, it's
Yeah.
good. So those are my pros.
No, for sure. Yeah, Wake Me Up is definitely a fire opener. I think it interpolates Thriller. I can't remember. I heard someone say something about Thriller. But yeah, Wake Me Up is such a great opener. I love the production choices.
Yeah.
Again, you got your typical Weeknd production, very synthy 80s pop and dance. But there was also some cool other production, more modern production choices that, again, maybe if I was listening to The Weeknd consistently, I would be like, oh, okay, this is probably normal for
Yeah,
him. Anyone who's a regular Weeknd fan will probably be like, yeah, this is
that's
pretty
normal.
typical. But
Yeah.
anyway, I digress. I was like, okay, it's kind of cool. Some of the more modern-ish styles. Um, I personally love the Travis and the Future features.
Mm,
I just like how they were performed. I like some of the pitching
mm,
done on it. Definitely, yeah. Again, for a lot more interesting than usual because it feels like Future and Travis have been in such a moment right now where it seems like a lot of what they're doing is very just okay. Yeah, that's cool.
it's pretty
That's cool.
generic.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So it was nice to hear something that's slightly different. It was like
Yeah.
nice to hear a pitch Travis. It was nice to hear Future being what seemed like actually genuinely emotional.
Yeah.
So that I love the transitions in between the songs. It just felt like a
Oh,
whole just again, it felt
yes.
like a story
Yes.
as like The
Yes.
Weeknd loves to do stories. So it was nice to have a project where it's just like, oh, okay, and next, and next,
Yeah.
and next.
N-
So
Uh, um, to touch on that, the transition from I can't effing sing
mhm.
to Sao Paulo,
Yep.
that was, yeah, that really got me. I think from then I restarted the album. I
Yep.
was like, okay, let
You're
me
like, hold up.
really, I was like, let
I was
me,
not listening
no,
properly.
I was like, I wasn't listening properly.
Yeah.
I was then like headfirst into it.
Mhm.
So yeah, the transitions were amazing.
Yeah. No, for sure, for sure.
Mm,
And again, super catchy hooks. Like
mm,
again, it's The Weeknd. He said that no one can do The Weeknd better than me.
mm.
Obviously, naturally, he is The Weeknd, but still, like you know, he knows. Again, he knows his skills. He knows
Yeah,
his what he's best at, and he can do it over and over and over
yeah.
again. And yeah, I think it's just a great album to just chuck on and vibe to whilst you're cleaning, whilst you're driving. Yeah, it's again, it's a solid weekend album.
Agreed.
Some of my favorite songs, apart from "Wake Me Up," is "Open Heart," which I know is a single,
Mm.
and "I Can't Wait to Get There," which I love the sample. I can't wait to get there. I love that. I
Yes.
love that. But yeah, what's some of your favorite tracks?
Literally the two I said, Sao Paulo. I love that song. It made the album stronger for me just because that's not typically what I would think of when I think of The Weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the collab with Anita, who is this global icon, I think it was just fun. It brought a lot of fun to the album.
Yeah.
Um, and then Timeless, I think I, I, I'm very what's the word? Like I don't remember the word, but it's my favorite track. It's been my favorite track since it was
Mm-hmm.
a single.
Yep.
I have loved it. I love the Sonics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, way too good. It's just a simple one. Love those.
Yeah. No, for sure. For sure.
Mm.
And I guess that's a good place to transition, which is cons.
Mm.
So I'll say this, seeing as you again, it's not really a con, but seeing as you brought up a track, which is one of your favorites,
Oh.
but I wrote that Sao Paulo is a cool modern dance switch up in the early of the track list, but I wouldn't personally run to it.
Mm.
I guess maybe I'm a little stuck in my The Weekend ways, where something that's a little more traditional of his sounding, I enjoy. So I was like, okay, I appreciate the switch up. I appreciate the stylistic choices and the feature and all that stuff, but unfortunately, I don't think it's one that I would personally
Mm.
run to. But still, in saying that, I don't think it's a whack track. I think it is a really really cool song. But my major one, which I for some reason I assume is gonna maybe be one of yours as well, which is just the length of the project.
Don't get me
Um,
started.
which yeah, the first couple times I listened to it, I definitely zoned out towards the back half because I was like, ooh, an hour and a half,
Mhm.
22 tracks is a
Mhm.
lot. It's a lot of music, and um, again, when you're someone like The Weeknd, where the styles are all, you know, very similar-ish, at a certain point it all starts to blend together, and
Agreed.
after 10 minutes, say you're driving, and it's like, oh right, I've gone over 3 songs and I
Yeah.
didn't even notice. So yeah, I think the length of the project was a bit too long.
Mm.
I think the more I start to listen to it, the more I start to appreciate the latter songs and lock in, because I guess I was trying to be very intentional with listening to the latter half songs,
Mm.
and they are still dope. So not saying the songs on the back half were bad, because they aren't. But yeah, getting there takes some time. But
Take some
yeah,
time.
but those are my cons.
I agree with you. It is. I literally wrote long as hell. Oh my god! Like those. That was what I said. It is long. Um, and then literally to tie in with what you said as well. We know like the good thing about the weekend, being good at his sound
Mm-hmm.
is it's gonna sound perfect.
Yeah,
The bad thing is it is repetitive.
yeah,
At least in my case.
yeah,
And it just you do end up kind of snoozing.
yeah,
It's repetitive, and then to add the fact that it's long, it was like, oh my god, this is never ending.
yeah,
It blended.
yeah.
He did
No,
the
for sure.
transitions well. It blended into one. Um, as well as that, because this album is kind of like a goodbye to what he
The
was.
moniker of the
Yeah.
weekend. Yeah, yeah,
And it's a transformation. I don't know. Cause we're different on these because you kind of like
yeah.
that weekend sound. I would have loved to seen more like different stylistic or sonically different stuff on the project. Um,
Okay.
Only because I feel like, yeah, you're showing us that like you're changing and this is like a
Mm-hmm.
period of transformation with this album. Show us with that. Um,
Okay. Yeah.
mm,
Um.
Thoughts?
No, like I feel like he kind of did through songs like Sao Paulo, and I'm trying to
Mm,
look what else. But because it's still the Weekend album,
you
it
have
makes
to. I
sense to then
to
do it as
still.
the Weekend. So then when he drops his album as Abel,
Mm,
then he can do a complete 180 and then be like, all
okay.
right, here is a rock album. I don't know. But because it's still the Weekend, people expect the Weekend.
That's true.
So something like, again, a track like Sao Paulo with Anita, it's like, um, it feels like a transition. Or
Mm,
even, I Can't Wait to Get There. The reason I love that track is because of the sample. But
mm,
forgive me if I'm wrong, or if I'm missing something. I probably am. But I don't remember samples, like soul chop type samples, being really a part of the Weekend style. I might be wrong.
See, I can't even speak on that because I'm not really a weekend
Yeah. If
listener.
let me
So.
know. Let me know. So yeah, so it did feel like there was some things apart in this that was like a little different, but
Mm,
I get what you're saying though. I get what you're saying though. Because it's a transition, you should have some more
yeah.
transitional tracks. But yeah, I guess that's out now. We'll wait till the next one. So it's not nothing we can
Yeah,
really do.
you're right. I
Um,
am excited for the next one.
but yeah, yeah. So the Weekend. Hurry up tomorrow. Let's get into the final ratings, the final rankings.
Hmm.
So the system is: are we here for this? Does it depend on the day whether we're here for this or not, or are we feeling iffy about it? Yeah, iffy.
I'm it depends on the day. It
Okay,
depends on the day. I wanted to say I'm feeling iffy, but I'm not. Like it just depends on the day.
interesting.
Um like listen, it's in his signature sound.
Mm-hmm.
It's a well thought out project. I love the concept. The sonics are amazing, but like it just doesn't fully click with me or
Mm-hmm.
stick with me, and like maybe it's the length or like the slower pacing in some songs,
Mm-hmm.
or like I don't know, like maybe it's just unfamiliar territory because like as I said, like I'm not really a weekend listener.
Yeah.
But I just wasn't feeling connected with it.
Mm-hmm.
Um Even like to his like other projects or
Yeah.
older projects. Like I really like those. I'm like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like I can really like take it and like, but it wasn't this one. I have to be in a mood. I
Yeah.
gotta be in a mood.
No, for sure,
Mm.
for sure. And I agree that it depends on the day whether I'm here for this or not. I think I think it's mostly the length.
Mm.
One. I unfortunate because
That length,
but still, in saying that, I still think majority of this project is great. Like it's
mm,
really good. It's just like it's just too much. Like
Yeah.
you could have compacted it to like I say this about a lot of it's not an old thing for me to say, but if you compacted this to like 13
It's true though.
solid tracks,
It's true.
um, I would have loved it. Would
It's
be here for
true.
this. But um, I did hear somewhere that I think there are versions of it where there are shorter track lists, like CD versions, vinyl versions, where it's like more
Mm.
compact 10 track, 13 track style.
See, he should
So
have done the opposite. Like that's what you normally do.
yeah, you put the longer on the
Yeah.
physicals.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Put the streaming
Damn.
numbers up. I don't know. Whatever. But yeah, yeah. But apart from that, like I enjoyed it. I did really enjoy it. I think oof, maybe it's I don't know. Maybe it's my least favorite of this trilogy between
Mm.
of After Hours and Dawn
Listen,
FM.
those two were hard hitting.
They were
I
really
did
good.
like those. I did like them.
But I'm not saying it's a bad album. I'm definitely not saying it's a bad album.
Mm.
But yeah, let's want to know what you think. Are you here for this? Are you feeling iffy about it? Let us know. The Weekend, Hurry Up Tomorrow, out right now. I don't need to do any promotion for it. Come on,
No,
it's the
you
Weekend.
can pay us.
Goodness, exactly. But yeah, this is Roots Reviews. I am Brew, okay, the Culture Black Kid.
I'm Iffy.
And we'll catch you next time. Peace.